Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It's 10 o'clock, 2nd of June, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, on where else? On Inspire FM 105.1 FM. We are going out to the wonderful people in Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough Salam Radio and Sheffield's Link FM. I hope you are well, warm and winning wherever you're listening in from, and you've had a great weekend and having a fabulous start to the week. Now, the weather is lovely out there and it's a perfect time to get outdoors, and especially to one of the parks local to us. Now, on today's show on the Urban Cube, I'm going to be talking to you about one wonderful green space, a space that we at Inspire FM are going to be getting part of and being present at on Friday, because, folks, the countdown has begun to what else? The Inspire FM Eid event. And where is it going to be held? It's going to be held at Stockwood Park. Now, if you don't know that, then you should know that. You may have seen all the posters, the billboards, and all the conversations on Inspire FM talking about the Eid event that's happening at Stockwood Park. And it's so exciting. Now, what we're so excited about is the fact that this is a new space. Mashallah, last year we had the opportunity to take Inspire FM Eid to Stockwood Park, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day for everybody around us. And this was a new space which we'd not ventured in before. So alhamdulillah, it's back there, bigger and better. And to talk to us more about Stockwood Park and why it's a great space for Inspire for Eid is no other than the Heritage Cluster Manager at the Culture Trust, Luton, is Jo Oliver. Now, Jo is with me in the studio today. She's with me all the way up to 10:30 to talk to us about Stockwood Park, especially for those people who are not familiar with Stockwood Park, what it is, a little bit of history behind it, and all the exciting events that are going to be happening in the summer. There's something called the Living History event, which is something to look out for as well. And when we think of Stockwood Park, when I think of Stockwood Park, I just think it's such an interesting, beautiful space. And you know what? It's one of those like hidden treasures that Luton has to offer, and Luton can boast about, because there's so much to see. You don't just have a green space, lots of greenery, beautiful park spaces, some landscape gardens as well. There's an amazing museum and a wonderful shop too. It's a real nice family day out for those local to us and nationally as well. And the best thing is it's free. It can't get better than that. So to talk to me more about Stockwood Park, I have my fabulous guest in the studio, Jo Oliver. Hello, Jo.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much, Jo, for joining us this morning. And you're going to be talking to us about Stockwood Park, aren't you?
Yeah, so specifically Stockwood Discovery Centre is the bit that I look after. And it is genuinely the best place in Luton. Sorry, every other places, but you know, it really is.
I love the confidence, but you know what, I'm going to agree with you there, because I've been to the Discovery Centre many a time with my children. I've seen so many amazing things in there. There's some exhibitions that have been there quite permanently, but there's other things that happen there as well. Tell us a little bit more about Stockwood Discovery Centre.
So the Discovery Centre is 8.5 acres, so it's quite a big space. It sits in the park itself, which just the park outside of the Discovery Centre is really beautiful, and it is a green flag park, which means that it's really well looked after and really green and lush and beautiful. But then inside the walls of the Discovery Centre, we house the Mossman Collection, which is a collection of carriages and different vehicles that was gifted to the Culture Trust from George Mossman, who he was a private collector, and they say it's definitely the biggest collection in the country, possibly in Europe, of carriages. Some of them have been in films. We've got some, celebrity carriages in our collection. We've also got lots of objects around life in Luton. We've got lots of objects. There was a local Thomas Bagshaw. He's seen as like the first curator of particularly of Wardown, because he was a real collector of particularly farming implements, but lots of items that are, you know, from the history of Luton. So we also have those on show as well. We have galleries that are from Saxon times, Roman times. We've got a working blacksmith's forge. We've got beautiful heritage gardens. We've got a listed sculpture garden. We've got the best cafe in Luton. Our chef Mario is just fantastic, and we genuinely do the best pizzas.
Okay, shout out to Chef Mario.
He is amazing.
Now I have to ask you, pineapple on your pizza?
Not my first choice, but I don't mind it. I'm not gonna, murder anyone over pineapple on pizza. I know it's quite a hot subject, but I'm not that bothered either way.
So great menu in the cafe. Loads to see in the Discovery Centre. What's your favourite part of the Discovery Centre?
My favourite part is actually in the gardens. It's a park called the Dig for Victory Garden. So it was set up to look, so basically in World War II, the government did lots of work around getting people to grow their vegetables at home, because obviously rationing and there wasn't a lot of food. So they actually would send out seeds and magazines and things and encourage people how to do it. So the Dig for Victory Garden is based around that ethos. We've got an Anderson shelter, which again, the government in World War II would have helped people to fund, and they sold them quite cheaply. So they were used as bomb shelters, which we've now dressed it, and it makes noise and it looks as it would have during World War II. And I just really love that part of the garden. It's where our 3 VIP chickens live.
The chickens!
I
love the chickens!
The chickens are amazing.
That's my favourite part of the Discovery Centre in the gardens.
Yeah.
I always go round and say hello to the chickens.
You have it. If anyone comes to visit us, they have to say hello to the chickens. The chickens are the VIPs of the Discovery Centre.
Can we give a shout out to the chickens?
Yeah, you can do. They are Lady Cluck, Chickaletta, and I have completely forgotten the last one's name. Well, the last one's name, she's got a different name, but my children call her Speckledy. So I only ever call her Speckledy because that's what they've decided her name is.
Oh, I love it. Chickens as well. So you've got greenery, you've got vegetation, you've got flowers, museums.
Yeah.
Great food. Gosh, it's the perfect place.
It really is.
The Inspire FM Eve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're really excited to be working with our friends at Inspire on this. Because it's such a great space. And, I know the one in that was earlier in the year, it was sort of more outside of the Discovery Centre, but this year at this time we're trying to move more inside, because we just are so excited to welcome our friends in the community and to help enjoy and celebrate Eid.
Sounds absolutely wonderful, and you're making me all excited. And what I wanted to ask was, why the collaboration? Why do you feel it's a good thing to do at the Discovery Centre?
I think it's really important that every community in Luton knows that the Discovery Centre is for them. It's it's such a, like you mentioned earlier, it's free to get in. It's a safe space for anyone. There's if you don't like the museum part, you can just come and sit in the gardens. If you don't like the gardens, there's a bit of history. There's so much up there for so many people, and it's we love working with communities. I've always worked with communities. Previously, I was in community centres, and it's just, the thing that makes Luton so wonderful is the sort of interwovenness of the different communities. And we really want to, embrace that and really work together to make it, even better than what it already is.
Fantastic. Folks, if you've just tuned in, it is 9 minutes past 10, and I'm joined by the absolutely wonderful Jo Oliver. She's the Heritage Cluster Manager at Culture Trust Luton, and she's here with me today to talk to me about all things Stockwood Discovery Centre. And you might have, if you haven't realised now, Inspire FM Eid will be at Stockwood Park, and we are going to be present at the Stockwood Discovery Centre as well. And Jo with me today, who's looking absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
She's brightening up my studio with her presence, and that's what we're aiming to do. We're going to brighten up your Eid with the support of Stockwood Discovery Centre. And the event we're talking about is Inspire FM Eid, which will be from Friday and Saturday, inshallah. And we'll also be joined by Brother Tariq to talk to us more about that on the second part of the show. Now, Jo, anything in particular that you would like people to see at a Stockwood Discovery Centre? Is there anything like happening presently?
So at the moment, we're just obviously gearing up for the Eid event. The children have just gone back to school. We had, a very busy week last week. So this week we are just about getting ready for the Eid event. But, genuinely the collections are worth having a look at. The carriages, the gardens, just come and have a look round. We're hosting for the Eid event. We have got the most important part of the event, and that is the food village. So all the food will be inside the Discovery Centre. So we are hosting a range of food trucks and stalls from around the world, doing a whole host of different yummy food. Our cafe will also be open. I believe Mario will be doing his world famous pizzas, which are the best pizzas in Luton.
I love that. We've got to give Mario a plug.
Absolutely. He really is incredible. So definitely come and see us for the food, because otherwise you'll be going very, very hungry, because it's all in with us. But also we're going to do some activities for children.
Brilliant.
We are, and they're going to be free. So just, they're going to be self-led. Just drop along. We'll leave all the stuff outside so children can come along and make a friendship bracelet. They can make a pop-up Eid card. There's going to be some colouring and some different bits and pieces. Make a little strawberry box.
Strawberry box?
Yeah.
Talk to me more.
So it's just made out of paper, but
Yeah.
you basically just fold it in a way with some wool, and it ends up looking like a really cute little strawberry box. And the thought behind that is that, people could pop a little sweetie, and it could be just a little Eid gift that, children could give to someone.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, just a little sweet one. Same as with the pop-up Eid card. But again, they're very simple crafts. There's something that anyone can do. The friendship bracelets that we're doing are based on a Viking method, and it's something that we're going to be doing a bit throughout the summer as well with people. So you use a bit of cardboard and you weave it, and it makes a really pretty bracelet. But again, with the celebration of Eid and about, friendship and family, again, it's, children can either make one for themselves or make one for someone to give as a gift. So that was the kind of thought around the arts and crafts.
I love that. And it's always good to have a bit of arts and craft for the children. And I love the theme behind that about friendship and family and gifting.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing about just having a wonderful day with your family, full of smiles, full of friendship, and a day to remember. And it's going to be full of memories. And Joe, thank you so much for just being making this happen for Inspire FM Eid as well. Folks, we are speaking to Jo Oliver. Now, she's the Heritage Cluster Manager at the Culture Trust Luton, and she is talking to us today about the Stockwood Discovery Centre and Stockwood Park, because Inspire FM Eid will be happening at Stockwood Park, inshallah. Now, loads of crafts, loads of food, and what else is on the horizon at Stockwood Park post Eid?
So we are gearing up for 6 weeks of school holidays. I say that with a bit of a pause because I am a mum, and I have to also think about, not only entertaining everyone else's children, but also entertaining my own. So through the 6 weeks school holidays, we will be hosting a range of paid for activities and also free activities, because it's a very, very, very expensive time.
Indeed.
And, I like I say, I'm a mum. I know how expensive it is. So we are this year, we've got 3 shows on throughout the 6 weeks. So they're all paid for. So they are Mrs. Armitage on Wheels. We've got Colorscape, which is a performance, but it's an immersive performance where you walk through orbs. That looks absolutely incredible. And then we've got Breadcrumbs, which is based around Hansel and Gretel story. So that's our paid for shows. We then every day have, so it's Crazy Golf, but it's Luton themed. So it's actually being made bespoke for us. So that's going to be down in the stables end. And that's really reasonable actually for, families to come and enjoy. And that's just going to be on all day, every day of the 6 weeks holidays. And then this has come from my brain, and I've worked with Rachel Donlan, who's our head of programming.
Oh, big shout out.
Yeah,
to
she's
Rachel.
amazing. She really is fantastic. And she just indulges me with my absolutely bonkers ideas when I ring
it.
her up and say, I've had an idea. So for the 6 weeks holidays, on a Tuesday, we're going to be doing what we've loosely named historical nonsense. And on a Thursday, we're going to be doing what we've loosely named nature nonsense. So the thought is it's all going to be free. On a Tuesday, for every week of the school holidays, there's going to be a different era of history. So it might be ancient Greeks, it might be Romans, it might be, World War I and II. And we're going to have a bit of fun around that. There's going to be an archaeological dig. There will be arts and crafts themed in that area, some colouring and a trail for children to do. And like I said, that's just going to be running all day on the Tuesdays. And then on the Thursday, so there's going to be a nature scavenger hunt, so people can go around the Discovery Centre picking up leaves and sticks, not my flowers, but leaves, sticks, grass, daisies, things like that. And then every week there's going to be a theme, and they're going to come back and make some art from what they've collected in the garden. So there's going to be a different theme every week. So it might be mini beasts, where they're making a picture of an insect, or it could be a self-portrait, or wings, or haven't quite ironed it out. And then that is all leading up to the grand finale of the summer, which is the last weekend in August, which is the Living History weekend, which this really is something that I'm really excited about, because this is my pet project, because me and my family go to lots of historic reenactments, and I'm basically throwing my children their own historic reenactment at Mummy's work, or so they think. So it is a paid for ticket. It's one of the few days of the year that we are going to charge for entry, but basically we're going to have reenactors come in, and they will be living on the site for the weekend, and they will be depicting different eras from history. So you'll have a chance to come along and see life as it would have been in that era. So for example, there'll be a Viking camp, there'll be some medieval knights from a couple of different periods in the medieval era. We've got some Victorians, we've got some Tudors. I don't want to give away too much. We have some British royalty coming to from the past, coming to visit us. There is going to be a chance for children to get involved and do St George's Night School. So they'll actually get trained by a real life knight. There'll be an arena with different battles and different demonstrations. There'll be have a go archery. Again, we'll be running some free arts and crafts based around the eras that we have on. And it's just going to be a really, really, really exciting weekend.
Sounds fabulous. So much to get involved with, and so very much needed, because there's not enough, I feel, enough reasonably priced activities for families, for the children to get involved. So where can people find out this information? Where do they need to go to?
So all our information is on our website, which is theculturetrust.com. They've really helpfully broken it down, so it will have summer at Stockwood. So all of the activities that we've got on over summer are there. And then you can have a little look around at what we've got going on at Hat Factory and at Wardown as well, because we do look after those sites, and also different events that we've got going on throughout the year, because then we do our winter light trail, which this year we're extending past Christmas, and that's going to go into January. So there's all details about that as well.
The winter light trail was gorgeous.
It's one of those things. It's so much like hard work. And Darren and Beth, the brains behind it all, who do all the amazing twinkly lights and all, they do the magic. We work really closely together, and it's so much like hard work, but it's one of the events that there's such pride about it, because it's so brilliant and so beautiful.
And it's kind of like it marks something for Luton.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, did you find people coming from outside of Luton to come specifically to
absolutely the we do exit surveys with people, just a few simple questions to gauge what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we need to improve on, because it's always about improvement. And one of the things we do is we take postcodes, and actually people do come from afar, and one of the reasons is it's the most reasonably priced light trail. So Christmas is a really expensive time, you know, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, you know, there's just lots going on at that time of year. And to be able to sort of give back to the town, you know, obviously we do have to charge because we have to cover costs and whatnot, but, you know, to be able to put it on at a reasonable price for the community, that's really important to us. And, you know, I've had people gone to other more expensive ones that I won't mention, and you know, lots of the feedback that we get is that ours is actually better, and a fraction of the price. So
that's brilliant. And just for people to kind of get an idea of what the light trail is, could you just quickly explain that?
So we basically open up the gardens at night in winter, and we light the gardens in such a beautiful way. There's a little bit of a storytelling aspect. We don't go too heavy with the theme like some of our, you know, counterparts do. But basically we have all these different light installations. Some of them are interactive, so there might be buttons to press, there might be, you know, things that move. There's lots of photograph opportunities, lots and lots of Instagram moments. And we have volunteers and staff placed around the trail to take pictures of families together. Because again, you know, I'm always the one taking the picture of my family, but it's nice for us to actually get a family together, if you know, a family photo together, so that, you know, we do have people dotted around. We have there's some animations for people to watch. We have, again, our amazing cafe. We have food and drink throughout the trail. This year we've doubled the trail in size, so if you've been previously, don't think, oh, you know, we've been there, done that. We've doubled it. It's going to be bigger than ever. I think this year we're hoping to have some more food stalls, a little bit of a Christmas market. There's going to be some other, you know, hidden surprises along the way, new friends to meet, because I know, you know, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but, you know, we have some characters from the trail that lots of people, you know, parts of the park that come to life, that people are really fond of, and we'll be having more friends this year.
And talking of friends, we're going to have loads of friends in attendance with the Inspire FM Eid at Stockwell Park.
We can't wait.
And it's going to be definitely an event not to be missed. And from what we've garnered from last year, this year is going to be bigger, hopefully, and a lot happening there as well. And you mentioned something about volunteers. Volunteers are quite significant, aren't they? And it is Volunteers Week.
Oh, amazing.
It's Volunteers Week. Why is it important to volunteer, and what benefits does that have for somebody?
Volunteering, it has benefits for the organisation that you volunteer for, because obviously, you know, you sometimes get a wealth of knowledge from someone and skill sets that you wouldn't potentially have got any other way. You know, we've got some incredible volunteers that come and help us out. We've got a chap called Phil who, you know, he volunteers 2 days a week, every week in the gardens at Stockwood. He moans about it, but he loves it really. But, you know, he was actually my teacher at school, you know, and he knows so much about fixing things. You know, the Anderson shelter was mine and his project that we completed together, you know, and the knowledge that he brought about doing that, I couldn't have done it on my own. We've then got at Wardown, we've got some of the ladies that come and do the textile volunteering. They help out with the collection. And again, you know, one of them was a seamstress, one was a teacher, you know, again, skill sets that, you know, we wouldn't necessarily have been able to tap into. But actually for the volunteer themselves, you know, I myself volunteer, I do fundraising for a local charity, and the benefits that you get from it yourself, you know, obviously you're giving back, which is really important, and, you know, doing something quite selfless, but you are getting a reward. But also you get to meet wonderful people, you get to, you know, enhance your own skill sets, you get to get involved with events. You know, we're going to be looking for volunteers for the Living History, for Illuminated. You know, we've just sort of completed a year of working with Barnfield College, because their business students have to do work experience. So I've taken probably 5 or 6 of them in to do their 30 hours work experience, and then we've taken probably 4 of them on.
Fabulous. And that makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For their CV and potentially getting employment in the
Absolutely.
future. How can people volunteer with Stockwood Discovery Centre?
So we have, at the moment, all of our volunteering is done through an initiative called Museum Makers. So if you go onto the Museum Makers website, which is again www.museummakers.com, everything is on there as a challenge. So they call them challenges, but equally you can do regular volunteer work. But it might be, you know, come and help out at the, you know, summer arts and crafts, or, you know, come and help in the gardens.
And that's brilliant. So
Yeah.
Museum Makers, folks, do go on that. Jo, we're heading to the end of the show for the first part. Quickly, you've got about 20 seconds. Why do we need to go to Stockwood Discovery Centre's Inspire for Mead?
Because it's the best place in Luton, and we're going to have the best food and the best arts and crafts and the best atmosphere.
Thank you so much, Jo, for joining us today on Inspire FM. An absolute treat having you here and sharing with us Inspire FM's Eid event at Stockwood Discovery Centre and Park. It's the end of the first part, folks. Join me straight off this. We'll be speaking to Brother Tariq about Inspire FM Eid. Assalamu alaikum.
This programme will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Inspire Eid returns to Stockwood Park. Get ready for an incredible celebration at Inspire Eid on Friday, June 6th and Saturday, June 7th. Join us for 2 action-packed days for fun and joy at Stockwood Park, featuring thrilling rides for just £1 to £2. Delight your taste buds with an amazing array of world food and drink options, and dive into exciting games and activities for everyone. And the best part, entry is absolutely free, and all are welcome. Brought to you by Inspire FM and proudly sponsored by Luton Borough Council. This is an event that you won't want to miss. Mark your calendars and get ready to celebrate Inspire Eid this Eid al-Adha at Stockwood Park. Remember, dates are subject to moonsight. For more details, visit inspirefm.org. Together, let's make unforgettable memories.
Why do Tops Pizza deliver the top pizzas in Luton? For a start, all the toppings are 100% halal, and Tops use fresh dough every day. Then there's the cheese, the highest quality available. And when it comes to food preparation, cleanliness is taken as part of our faith. So that just leaves the taste, choice, and great offers, including buy one, get one free on all medium, large, and extra large pizzas. Tops Pizzas, Wellington Street, LU1 5AA. Order online, topspizza.com, or via Just Eat. Download our app or call 01582 72 5000.
Lee Grade Heating Supplies. With over 20 years of experience, we're the largest independent plumbers merchant in the area, specialising in all types of plumbing and heating, as well as combination boilers and megaflow cylinders. Whether you need a new bathroom or a complete new heating system, LHS is the place. Come along to our brand new bathroom showroom at Unit 1, 3 Chorlend Lane, Luton, to see the latest range of quality bathrooms. Or log on to leegrave.net. We're an Interpart approved stockist for all genuine spares. Our new store in Bedford is now also fully opened. Lee Grade Heating Supplies. Call Luton 84 86 88.
Days of Dhul Hijjah on Inspire FM. You should regularly recite the Holy Quran during these 10 days, as the reward is hugely significant, as each letter recited from the Quran is equivalent to 10 rewards. You should commence your recitation after Fajr, especially because you aren't thinking much about daily tasks, and you can display more devotion in your recitation towards Allah. Make sure to stay tuned to Inspire FM. Assalamu alaikum.
Celebrate in style at the Grand Royale, Luton's premier banqueting hall, offering elegance, luxury and seamless event planning. Host up to 750 guests with top-tier catering, stunning decor, photography, videography, hair and makeup, DJ, dance floor and expert event management, all under one roof. Whether it's a wedding, birthday or corporate event, let's witness the happy family moments together. Call 01582 551913 or visit grandroyale.co.uk today.
Each year, Your Qurbani begins a sacred journey, reaching families in 29 countries across the world. Families like Norisa's, who may only have access to this vital source of nutrition just once a year because of you. When you give through Islamic Relief, you're helping families in need, supporting local communities, upholding animal welfare, and providing the highest quality meat. From just £55, make your quality assured Qurbani donations through Islamic Relief. Trust in Allah. Give Qurbani.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:13.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and assalamu alaikum. It is 10:30 and it's a wonderful Monday morning, an absolute pleasure to be in your company. So thank you for staying with me on the second part of the Urban Cube show on Inspire FM 105.1 FM. And I'm going out to the wonderful people, Luton surrounding areas, and Peterborough Islam Radio, Sheffield's Link FM. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, sharing with you what's happening across our communities, and conversations with fabulous guests. Now, I've had the pleasure of speaking to no other than Joe Oliver, the Heritage Cluster Manager at the Cluster Trust Luton, Cultural Trust Luton, this morning. And we were talking about what's happening at Stockwood Park. Now, something special is happening at Stockwood Park. If you don't know, why don't you know? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is. The countdown has begun for the most exciting event of the year. And it is, let me give you a few clues. Something to do with Inspire FM and Eid. Yes, it's the Inspire FM Eid event, which is happening at Stockwood Park. And to tell us a little bit more about why it's an event that you need to be attending, I've got somebody quite special, quite significant in the studio. And some of you will recognise him. He is a well-known voice across Inspire FM and a well-known personality across Luton. It's no other than Brother Tariq. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam, Sister Shamiza. How are you?
I'm very well. I believe you're quite busy at the moment, aren't you?
You can say that. A little bit going on. We've got Inspire Eid, and to be honest, the week before Eid itself is extremely busy. This weekend has been quite busy. Myself and Brother Mahmood have literally been pretty much most of Saturday. Had a few hours off yesterday. But just planning for Inspire Eid. It's a huge event, lots of things to do, and lots of things to finalize. What doesn't help is where unfortunately some of our community wake up 4 days before the event saying, can I book a stall? And it's like, where have you been for the last 2 months? So alhamdulillah, it's going well.
It always comes together. Now, alhamdulillah, you know what's really amazing is I had this lovely conversation with Joe Oliver, who's the Heritage Cluster Manager at the Culture Trust. And she was speaking quite highly of this collaboration that they're having with Inspire FM Eid. How does it make you feel when you hear such positive connection or build positive collaborations like that?
Alhamdulillah, I think, to be honest, every time we do an event, we try to see how can we work with other organizations. And when this last Eid, we were asked by the council to actually come and do the Eid event at Stockwood rather than Lucy. As many of our listeners will know, Lucy was our home for Inspire Eid as we started in 2019. But when we moved to Stockwood, the initial thing was what's happening at Stockwood. At Lucy, we made quite a few good connections. We used to work with the Active Luton quite well there. There was Merison, who used to have his pub there, who used to come over and maybe help out. He used to initially wanted to run a barbecue there and stuff. So again, there's lots of different collaborations to see what can we do working with the locals there. And at Stockwood Park, you've got the Discovery Centre, which I genuinely believe it's a hidden gem in our town. And I think it's absolutely amazing. And for those people out there who haven't been to it, you are literally missing out. There are so many absolutely free activities, and it's an amazing space, especially the weather's like today.
Definitely, and so much to see, so many different things. There's something for everybody. And Jo said something to me just before she'd left in the break. Said, it doesn't matter if you can't speak English. Just the visuals are enough to take in, and it is a safe space for so many members of our community. But sometimes people feel a little, maybe potentially intimidated by certain spaces, and they think, oh, this space might not be as welcoming. But what's your take on that?
I think it's a natural concern for many. Whenever you go to a new place, it's going to, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be like this? Is it going to be like that? People have questions around. Is it going to be child friendly? Is it going to be Muslim friendly? Is it going to be language friendly? And on top of that, other concerns around. Are there toilets there? How easily accessible are they? Is the food going to be halal, for example? So people have a lot of questions. And to be honest, the first time you go there, you'll find out that all of these and above and beyond will be ticked off, and you'll be made to feel at home. It's an absolutely amazing space. And I think the most important thing I find with the Discovery Centre is you can enjoy the whole of the Discovery Centre and not have to spend a penny. You could literally bring a picnic. And I remember quite a few years ago, I remember the actual brothers, the senior team from Inspire. Back then, it was the ISB, Islamic Society of Britain brothers. And they actually had an Eid party there, which was again pre-Inspire Eid and stuff. There's no parties happening for anyone now, and for while Inspire Eid is going on, there's too much organisation to do. But we had I think maybe the week later after Eid, we had an Eid party, not an Inspire Eid party, but and all it was bring a dish to share. You got beautiful gardens there, you got benches there, you've got some amazing space just to come and enjoy. So I think that for us, from an Inspire perspective, the collaboration was there. It was there to be had. We had to then also look at currently the other businesses that are also there. You've got the golf club there, you've got the riding school, you've got the rugby club, you've got Active Luton. So there's a lot happening in the park. So it's a very busy park, mashallah. So we're trying to see how can we work with the other of course partnerships there as well. So golf club, we're working quite actively with them. They're actually quite busy, especially on that particular weekend. So we're going to try to see how not only is it a collaboration from a perspective of how can we work with them to see they can actually promote their services and actually bring out what they do to the community, but also to make sure that when our community does attend the park, that the current businesses that are there are not impacted by that, and obviously they're able to get on with their day. So I think it's all that kind of stuff.
We have this space, we're on this wonderful collaboration, mashallah. The question I have is, what can we expect on the day? And what would you like to say to our listeners, especially our listeners in maybe Peterborough or Sheffield? We're inviting them as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So to be honest, from an Inspire perspective, it's become a household name now for the last 5-6 years. I've been doing it. It's a huge event, alhamdulillah, getting bigger and bigger. Last event, we saw our biggest numbers. I believe some even taking it up to saying it was maybe 70 to 80,000 over the 2 days, which is huge. And the council have said is by far now the biggest event in Luton. So alhamdulillah, it's a huge event. And again, big events then obviously take a lot of preparation, a lot of organisation. And I want to, at this point, say a massive thank you to Luton Borough Council. They've actually come on board and said, you know what, there's a lot to be done outside the park itself, not just on inside. And they've said, well, obviously, due to the limitations of time that we had, they've actually stepped up and said, listen, we'll take care of everything outside. You just take care of the event itself. So a massive shout out and a thank you to Luton Borough Council.
Why have they stepped up? Do they see the value in an event like this? Is that why?
Well, value obviously is there. It's a community event. So again, they will always have a look at the community value. But I think from their perspective is to make sure that we don't have the same problems we had last event.
And what were they?
The whole of that particular area became gridlocked. And I think from a traffic perspective, I think nobody, to be honest, including us as organisers of Inspire Eid and Luton Borough Council, nobody expected those kind of numbers. In our previous events, the biggest event that we've had at Lucy was probably about maybe 40,000 over the 2 days. And going to 80,000, it's like literally double the event at Lucy. I think it's huge.
So what has changed? What have you done to make sure that there's no gridlock, traffic is managed, and people are more aware of how to get to the location?
So I think what we've done, from our perspective, from a parking perspective, we've actually changed the entrance. So most of the listeners would have hopefully seen my video that's already gone out. We're going to send another one out, especially for those of you coming from out of town. For those of you in town, the entrance that is the normal entrance into the park will be the exit out. So what we're trying to do is trying to move the entrance further down. So it's not your Whippley Way entrance. So some people maybe used to down Whipley Way and straight across as an entrance there. Don't use that entrance. That will be an emergency access only. So we've got a special entrance just for emergency vehicles to come in and out of the event. If you go further down where the camera is, there's a car park there on the left. The council are making a special entrance just for this event into the wider area of the park, where you'll be able to, normally there's some football pitches there, you'll be able to park there. So there's, I would say, at least a couple of thousand car park spaces at least. So there's a massive car park space that we have there. Once you've parked and you're leaving the event, you would actually leave the event out from the main entrance as you would normally come in from. We've actually made a change over the last week. So we had a different parking plan in place, which was, I would say, better, to be honest. I think we were able to use the London Road entrance as well, because we could park on that side of the field behind the rugby pitch field. If those of you who know the rugby pitch training field, we were going to have two separate car parks. That, unfortunately, since the last weekend, we had the incident in Liverpool where there was the vehicle that went into people. That, unfortunately, has made that entrance non-accessible. The council have had some particular guidance regarding having vehicles on close proximity to where people are, and based on that, we're going to have to not use that car park. So we're having to make some last minute changes. I've actually got a meeting today with one of the brothers who's actually helping us with the parking later on this afternoon to see how will this new change work. So the actual original car park of coming in from Farley Hill Road is going to be there, but there'll be no entrance from Farley Hill Road. So there'll be no entrance from London Road. But there is also news that Whitehill Avenue will be closed for the 2 days. Now, this is I think possibly a big change for the residents of Whitehill Avenue anyway, because they were saying that they were gridlocked, they weren't able to get out of their houses, and they had huge issues. The council have really pulled out all stops to make sure that the residents are not impacted.
And you have tried to connect with all the residents in the areas, haven't you, by hand-delivered letters to everyone's houses, keeping up with the updates on what to expect. So you're kind of advising individuals.
Exactly. So communication-wise, we've tried our best. We've done this. We've done two separate public consultations. One for the Luton South Ward, one for the Farley Ward. And the idea of the public consultation was purely the fact that we wanted to make sure that. Sorry, I think if you want to turn the mic down slightly, I can hear it popping.
I love the fact that the boss is telling me how to sort out the volume.
So I think, if you just turn the fader down slightly, I think it's very high at the moment.
Okay.
That's too low now. A bit up a bit.
There we go.
There you go. We've got
Thanks,
live training during the show. So yeah, apologies for the listeners, for those of you who may have heard that popping whilst the show's going on. But listeners, in regards the consultation, we were two separate consultations with the public, which was to make sure that we actually are firstly taking the residents' considerations into account. So again, we were actually going to so there's going to be parking restrictions on London Road, Whitehill Avenue, Farley Hill Road. But one of the residents from Cutener Road said, well, we're always impacted, but nobody actually looks at us because we're straight opposite the park. So again, we took that into consideration, and from West Hill Road onwards, there will also be parking restrictions outside Cutener Road. So the idea is that residents themselves can park outside their house, they can park inside their drive, they don't get their drives blocked. Whitehill Avenue had a huge issue last time, so the council have actually turned around and said this time around we're going to close Whitehill Avenue. So Whitehill Avenue access is residents only, and again, as you said, this Friday the team was out again delivering letters, delivering parking permits, and making sure that everybody is aware of what's going on. So we're really trying our best.
If you are in the vicinity of that area and you would like any information regarding the parking issues that you may encounter, please, how can they get in touch? Who can they speak
You
to?
can contact us here on 01582481822, or you can of course contact the council, which I think might be better, especially if it's outside the actual event itself. If you're asking about anything to do with the event parking, or anything inside the park, then we are directly in charge of that and we can handle that. But when it comes to everything outside the park, because the council have directly taken responsibility for that, and they are actually controlling that with the stewards, with the parking wardens, with all the signage, everything is being dealt by the council. I would recommend, if you have any issues regarding your particular road, or if you haven't received a letter, or if you've got any concerns, I would suggest you contact Luton Borough Council's parking department, and they'll be able to assist you further.
Folks, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to the Urban Queue with me, Shamiza, taking all the way up to 11 o'clock. The time is 10:44, and my guest in the studio right now is no other than Brother Tariq, a voice that you're familiar with. He is the presenter of the Rise and Shine show, and a real community figure. And today he is talking to me about no other than the Inspire FM Eid event. Now, we want you to join us and celebrate Eid at Stockwood Park and enjoy the discounted fun fair rides, world food and family entertainment on June the 6th and the 7th. And Brother Tariq is talking to us in more detail of what to expect. Now, on the day, Brother Tariq, what can we expect?
We've got pretty much most of the same. So obviously rides, lots of rides. In fact, I think we normally tend to have about 20 rides, all either £1 or £2. All children's rides should be £1. All adult rides are £2. All inflatables, most of them are all £1. So again, it's all cheap rides that we can do. On top of that, we've got, of course, the food village that we have.
And Joe was talking about the exciting food, and the food is actually going to be in there, the Discovery Centre.
Exactly. So one of the key things we're trying to do with the collaboration with the Discovery Centre is to try to get as many people into the Discovery Centre as possible. And I think one way it will get people there is by the smell of the food. So we thought, you know what, if we want people to come to the Discovery Centre, let's put the food inside the Discovery Centre. I think we have we have our concerns, to be honest, about the food being in the Discovery Centre, because it's not a huge space. So we hope that it doesn't get too congested. We're only trialing it because, to be honest, we really want this to work for the Discovery Centre. It doesn't have no benefit to us, to be honest, whether we put it outside or inside. But due to, again, some of the amazing stuff that's at the Discovery Centre, and try to really make this collaboration work, we thought, you know what, we'll try it, see how it works. So one of the things, obviously, we will say to the listeners is I mean, it's, with anything that we're doing, because we're fairly new at the park, it is trial and error. We're finding our feet, and it's only our second event there this time, inshallah. I can guarantee you will be a lot better than the first time round. So a lot of the issues that people had noted.
You took them on board, didn't you?
So a lot of the issues that people had issued, traffic was obviously one thing that people had noted, right? But then again, there was queuing around the food, not having enough food stalls. Last time we had about 4 or 5 food stalls cancelled about 2 days before the event. So we were really stuck against that. This time around, we actually got about 15 food stalls.
Now, my only concern is food, Discovery Centre, objects, you know, what the safety element of making sure that the food doesn't land on the ornaments or artifacts that are there?
I think, to be honest, the ornaments and everything else that's in the Mosman collection, they normally are roped off.
Okay.
So you're actually a couple of meters away from it. So it's not a situation where you can actually directly touch them. There's plenty of toilets around. There's plenty of tissues and all sorts of stuff available where hands can be cleaned before you go into any of those things. And I think one of the things we were speaking to Joe was actually having guided visits to, especially there's one particular area within the Mosman collection where you've got some amazing collection of old cars. And again, I think to be able to, I think one thing is obviously looking at these cars and stuff, and one thing is actually getting the information about it, where they come from, the history of it. So I think guided tours is something that we're looking towards.
That's a lovely aspect to the visit as well. There's something for everybody in certain areas. So many different sections of the park. Is the Pakistani truck still there?
The Pakistani truck is still there. I was actually trying to get Rizwan to move it out to me because we got the Pakistan Kashmir event coming up in August at Stockwood Park. Last year it was at Warda, and I said, can you not just move it about 500 meters out onto the field? And he said, I don't think it's got an engine in it. But yeah, so the Pakistani truck is still there. There's a rickshaw there. There's quite a lot of amazing historical vehicles, to be honest. So anybody who's interested in cars, anybody who actually really, thinks of how motor vehicles were originally made, the designs, the carts, everything, it's really, really intriguing.
Loads of stuff for the gram. Do tag Inspire FM, hashtag us on when you're there, folks. Let's see, share those images with us, and let's make this a record-breaking Eid event, inshallah. Now, we've talked about the food, we've talked about the gardens, we've talked about the Discovery Centre. Let's talk about the entertainment. There's something a little bit different this time, isn't there?
There is, I hope. We're basically we're looking at the stage this time around, and purely because the setup that we've made this time round, it doesn't really work practically with the stage being there. We can't really have it inside the Discovery Centre. We don't have the space, and having it outside the Discovery Centre in the park somewhere just makes it a bit distant from the event itself. So we thought let's do something different this time around rather than having the stage, because we've got an amazing picnic area. So as soon as you walk into the Discovery Centre, for those of you who are aware of it, the first big massive patch of grass area will be where the food stalls will be, and then you've got a really nice hedge, like a maze in the middle, and behind the maze again you've got some beautiful gardens, you've got some amazing sitting space, benches, everything. So that will be our family picnic area. So the idea would be is you get the food, and if you're not interested in going back outside towards the rides, you can go there, sit down with your family, have a picnic. Bring a picnic. You can even bring your own food if you don't want to spend any money on there. Have a picnic there in the picnic area. And the idea was to have a screen there, to have some children's movies on there, so children can actually be entertained by that. We've had a couple of issues with that regarding, well, firstly, it was financial issues rather than anything else. They were costing quite a bit more than the actual stage itself would have cost us. So we've tried to do a workaround where we can actually do a screen ourselves and try to facilitate that. This is again something that myself and Mo were working on pretty much all of Saturday, but unfortunately the results were not great, so we're back to the drawing board on that. We will have something at this moment in time. I can't say what, because we're literally trying to see, because obviously we don't have, I think it's about £3,000 it's costing if you want to go for the professional screen and an actual video screen. So we're trying to look at a workaround around that to see what we could do which would be financially viable, but also something extra for the families to enjoy. Because one of the things we always try to have in there is not only, of course, the fun fairs and the food and the stage and everything, but it's some sort of free family entertainment so people can actually come there. And a lot of people, you'll find, Shmaiza, actually come there and don't spend a penny. They actually bring their own food. They have a picnic. They just come there for the atmosphere. And to be honest,
and that's fine, right?
That's completely fine. That's perfectly fine as well. So I think, and this is where we thought the screen would actually be really nice for those families who can enjoy that free family entertainment. Enjoy their own food that they bought from home, have picnic mats, the kids are running around enjoying themselves, and because it's all contained, it's all safe. You know your kids are in front of you and they're not going to be running out on the road or anything like that. So it's a really nice, safe environment. I think inshallah it should be really good. We're just hoping that we can sort this screen out and see how it works.
Inshallah, with the du'as of all our listeners, I pray it happens, and I'm sure there's so much going on there that even if the screen isn't there, it's connecting. It's a day of people coming together and just smiling and having loads of fun, really. And there's so much to see at the centre. There
is, and to be honest, one other dua that I would really like the listeners to make is to ask for sunshine. The next few days actually is looking a bit wet, including Friday. In fact, Saturday is a bit of touch and go at the moment, sunshine and mixed with about 30% of rain. Friday's not looking great at the moment, so I'd really like the listeners to all get together and make lots and lots of dua that we have some amazing weather and inshallah we can enjoy Eid.
Brother, tell us one more time, where is this located? If you've got a postcode and any updates, where can people see those updates? And also about the Luton Eid al-Adha Jamaat times? Where can they find those?
Yep, so Luton Eid Jamaat times, we normally try to do our best to try to get them out as soon as possible so people can actually plan and prepare for the Eid prayers. We've already been made notified that on Friday the 6th, when it's Eid, there's quite a few people doing GCSE exams that morning. My son was telling me about, I think it's 9:15 or 9:30, he's got his exam. So he's planning where he would be able to pray and be able to go down for his exam. Quite a few massages, alhamdulillah, actually doing a very early, I think much earlier for the exam. 5:30, I think, is the earliest prayer. There's quite a few that are 6:30 and 7 o'clock. I was speaking to my son, I said, we can pray at 8 o'clock, and by 8:30, I can drop you off to school. So I think there's at least 34 different places that you can pray Eid Salah, 35 I think, including Dudley Masjid, who messaged me over the weekend. So 35 different spaces you can pray Eid Salah in. The Eid Salah times are available on our website, they're available on our social media, so do check them out. We can WhatsApp them out to you as well if you are on WhatsApp. But I think in regards to the actual event itself, my only real plea to the listeners would be is to please make sure you park in the allocated car park. Please don't park out on the roads. Please don't create any issues for our residents. The residents have, whether they come to the event or not, it's not something that they should have to hinder their life in any way, that they can't get out of their own drive. I think, imagine if you lived somewhere and you can't get out your own drive purely because somebody decided to do an event and someone decides to park outside their house. So please be mindful of where you park. Anybody who does come out of town, if you're listening to us from Sheffield, Peterborough, Nottingham, Derby, wherever you may be listening to us from, please do come towards Junction 10. So if you are coming towards Stockwood Park Junction, come towards Junction 10. When you come to Junction 10, when you come off the motorway, rather than coming, you'll see the park, you'll think the park entrance is directly in front of you. Rather than going directly down what is known as London Road, you need to go left towards as you're going away from Luton, and that will actually detour you around a back road on Newlands Road, which will bring you around the back to the parking quicker, so you don't need to enter the town. So if you come down London Road, you'll have an issue because you have to go all the way down into town because Whitehall Avenue is closed.
Please do look at all our social media and our Facebook page for any updates, inshallah, regarding the event, and on inspirefm.org. Brother Tariq, any last few words? We've got about 25 seconds for the end of the show.
I think the other thing that I would also like to say is the day of Arafah is on Thursday. Please do try and fast if you can. Please make lots of du'as over the next few days. Please keep the Hujjaj in your du'as. May Allah make their journey easy. And this next few days is days of du'as. So make lots and lots of du'as and keep us in your du'as as well, inshallah.
Inshallah, Ameen. And from me, Assalamu alaikum, and see you next week.
Coming up next, Awaz-e-Haq with Hafiz Ijaz. This is Inspire FM.
Inspire FM.
Inspire Eid returns to Stockwood Park. Get ready